Sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, our team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on January 25th. And I don't know about anyone else, but has January been slow to finish? Like, I'm not rushing it along the way, but last year, everyone said it went so fast, it went so fast, it went so fast. But for some reason, for me, this has been like slow, and I like things at a nice, even pace. Weather in Toronto, we're finally breaking a cold spell. We had some somewhat seasonal temperatures going on in the Toronto area, like we're near like 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but there's a bitter wind out there. But it's not about me. It's Saturday. It's Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa. So if it's Primetime with Aisha LaLa, it's prime time to bring them on the stage. What's going on, ladies? How we doing?
Hello.
What's been going on?
What's not been going on?
Jesus. Well, already in the comment section, Aisha's comment saying hello and thanks for joining us, and that is fantastic, Aisha. You're putting in the comments. We also have Lala saying send stars to show your support. And as Aisha said, it's been a week, guys. And then our number one fan, Jen Meyer, says, hello, everyone. And Jen says this month is flying by. Well, I think some people said this week is flying by. Forget this month. But what's been going on in everyone's world? What's been going down?
America is American.
Yeah. I've had to protect my peace. All week has been not just for our country, but it is the 2-year anniversary of my sister's death. So on top of all of the burning of America, I have been dealing with that. So it's been a very trying week for me. I have really leaned into my husband as well as meditating more. There's like 3 or 4 times a day that I have to get in a corner and just meditate for my balance. And we talk about that a lot on the show. So I always want to share that with you so that, you know, if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling upset and you're feeling depressed, you know, it's nothing wrong for you to be able to step back and just breathe. You can't change things overnight. You can't change the way things are going right now, but you can change how you process it and how you feel. Don't let this bother you to the point where it is going to hurt your health. Because it is what it is now. And we knew it was coming, but we all know that it feels different.
You know what? No, I think a number of people knew it was coming, but a lot of people didn't know it was coming. They thought it wasn't coming, or they were in another world.
I don't believe that.
Hold on a second. So all the people who voted, you're saying that they knew that this was coming?
Yeah, I'm right. I do. And I blame them. I blame them. I blame them for doing this. Yes,
well,
yes.
In terms of did they know? Yes, because it was said over and over and over again. Did they believe it is a different story.
Okay. Green-eyed little baby says, hello, everyone. Good to have you in at the front of the conversation today. So let me get a little bit lighter. So today, this afternoon, there's an organization we have here in Canada called Operation Black Vote. Now, I think they've been around for 20 or 25 years. Interesting enough, today was the first time they had a Black Men's Political Summit. After
Really?
20, it's good they had it, but after 20 years of being in existence, they've always had Black women's political summits, but they had a Black men's political summit. And I'm glad they had it. I stayed for about half of it, and everyone was like, there were politicians up there from federal, provincial, municipal level, and they were talking about the politics end. But I said in my mind, there's one thing missing. I said, guys, look in the United States. Who is one of the top 3 most powerful people in America? And one guy got the answer I was looking for first, Elon Musk. No one's talking about the collective business getting purchasing power, economic power. So I had to leave early, but it was good to go to the event. I'm a little bit disappointed it took 20 years for them to do it. But yeah.
A little behind, yeah.
Yeah, something's better. But here's the thing. I had reached out to that organization 2 weeks ago to say, hey, would you like to come? I do a number of different shows outside of this one, especially a number of them that are Black Canadian focused. Said, hey, would love you to come on the show and just promote what your organization does. And also, I'm a Black man. I host a Black men's show. Okay. So people who may or may not know, when I do things like that, I send out video messages. They opened it, but they never responded to it. So I don't know. So I'm saying, okay, I was thinking about I shouldn't even go, but I said, no, I'm going to show myself and just see if anyone even acknowledges me from the organization. And some people saw my name tag, nothing. I said, no problem. So I just had to exhale a little bit about that in a nice, easy way. I could yell and scream. I said, no, I just move on and do that. So that's my political commentary for the day. I don't give too much political commentary, but that's my political commentary for the day. Outside of the week that was, I'm going to ask both of you, what was one win both of you had this week? Can be big or small. A win.
My fun.
Yes. Talk about it now.
Well, my children's book, The Infallible Fanny Freeman.
Nice.
I just got the proof back yesterday, so I got to look at it, and it's going to be ready for pre-sale this week, and then February 4th at barnesandnoble.com, or you can purchase them.
Nice. And you know what? I'm going to go beyond the Call of Duty. I know that it's going to be on a U.S. site, and I know it's going to be 30 cents on my dollar because our Canadian dollar is taking a beating with the U.S. dollar right now. But I'm going to purchase, and as soon as it comes, we're going to start off with Sean. I'm just going to hold it in the screen.
Yeah.
LaLa, give us a win that you had this week.
I am back on my health journey. I have kind of let it fall aside, and I've decided that I need to wake it up and shake it off. So I have lost a few pounds. So I'm feeling a lot better. I am not a water drinker. I absolutely hate it, but I have added more water into my diet, and I meal prep for the whole week. So that means that I don't have to cook every day. And I'm doing that.
I've been juicing.
I'm just drinking water to encourage LaLa. We got to get Aisha next. Got to get her a little bit off of the Coca-Cola thing.
No, I've actually been juicing all week. It's pretty good.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I love juicing.
Me too. I really do.
Okay. So there's a high-pitched whistle going on somewhere here. So I
muted myself earlier.
Me too. I tried too.
I don't hear it now. I
hear it.
Yeah, what's that whistle? Okay, let me put myself on mute and see if it finishes. Did it go off? Did it silence?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on my end. I'll make sure I cut myself off while you ladies are chatting. I'll mute myself. All right. So Jen Meyer says, Aisha, she's celebrating, saying, yay, the book is out. And Green-Eyed Little Baby says congratulations and also says awesome work. So once the link gets live, we're going to add it to our information on where people can buy it. Man, I feel like I'm going out on sea. I feel like I'm Popeye. Green-Eyed Little Baby says, maybe you're being monitored. Allah!
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, they ain't going to stop us. They ain't going to shut it down. Sorry. All right. So we've taken a little bit of a break, and we will be back in 30 seconds. And we're just, okay, hold on. Lala says, we are being watched. Twilight Zone. Thank you. All right. Now, after that, we're going to take a bit of a 30-second break. We have one topic to chat about, but many facets of one topic. So we'll be right back. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here. So let's bring her up. She has been with us for a number of months now. This lady called Minnie on Cam.
And that was the thing when I learned about lifting yourself out of poverty. It's actually a specific financial number if you look at all your numbers. And now I see it happening to people in the BIPOC community. I don't need my phone for every moment. Culturally, our family doesn't let us sit down and do nothing.
All right. That is the more. It's Popeye the Sailor Man in the background. So that's the morning vibe. You can catch myself and my co-host Ryan O'Neill Knight Monday and Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, and that's just a little bit of slice from that. So before we get into it, let's do the homework. Girlfriends chat with Aisha, Lala, and Jill Jones at Patreon. There's the link. Also, Primetime Saturday store. There's the link. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala Discord group. We're having lots of communication, all three of us. And I saw Jen put in something this afternoon too. And also subscribe to the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Finally hit 1,660 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Tell other people about the show, all the different shows. Next goal is 1,670. And then like the Dr. Vibe show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, which is great. And then to advertise your business, product, or service of any kind on our platform, email me dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And we're only chatting about one thing this week, the executive orders. Ladies, do you want me to start or do you want to start? I only want to talk about one. Okay. I'm still growing up, but when I was smaller and I used to watch the news, I would see countries around the world, a lot of them in Central America, South America, have civilians try to overthrow a government. And when they didn't succeed, they go in prison for life. Now, regardless of what type of government were in there, those people would go in for a long time. I see a group, 1,500 individuals who willingly tried to overthrow a government, tried to kill people, kill the policemen, injured other people, get a pardon from your current president. So my question, I officially said, I've seen it all. I feel like in some ways, I think America's turned into a third world country, a dictatorship. And when I see that, so the only other question that, and I've been asking to a few selected people, would those 1,500 people, if they were Black, get a pardon?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
And here's the other part of it too, on one hand, it's like, yeah, he gave them pardons, but this just tells you how stupid these people really are, because these are the same people that also said, those weren't MAGA, they were Antifa, Black Lives Matter protesters, the FBI. Well, if that's the case, don't you want them still in prison? it's like they want it both ways, but it's sad because it sends a bad message to the people who were the police officers and law enforcement who were there that day. But then now these people feel like they can be lawless. You hear them talking about they're going to buy up all the guns.
No, he ordered this from day one. He pretended like he didn't know any of this, and therefore he is rewarding those who did exactly what he wanted them to do. Now, what's very interesting is he pardoned all those people, and then dumbass congresswoman or whoever decided she was going to invite him to the damn Capitol, and a judge said, "Oh no, oh no, you are not allowed to go to the Capitol." So we are immediately seeing things unfold in front of us. We are at war. Our country is at war within itself. The enemy is truly within, and we are watching it unfold. And he's doing nothing but rewarding absolutely everybody who bowed down to kiss his tin ring. And it's pretty disgusting. It's heartbreaking because everything we knew is just coming to fruition. And they're also saying that, it was a bill put toward saying that he could run another term. He could have a third term. So we all know what he said that he was going to do. This is formality, I'm sure, that bill. But he's going to reward absolutely everyone who gave him what he wanted. And the minute someone steps out of bounds and think their britches is too big, we will watch them get slapped down. You wait. Musk will be slapped soon, twice, because he's already been slapped once. And told
Vivek has been. I hear Vivek is gone.
Yes, he's gone.
Wow.
Because, but think about it. He's gone because you got to remember, Vivek got too big for his britches. It's like you can't be a brown person and tell white people that they're lazy and think that you're going to work in their government. That is basically what that was, right? And so, but here's the thing with Elon Musk and the little tip that they're having today about OpenAI and ChatGPT and Trump's advancing AI thing is that they asked him, "Are you upset that Elon Musk is having this, internet beef with Altman, right, over ChatGPT and OpenAI? Are you upset? Or, does it bother you?" And he's like, "No, he's not wearing his welcome out, but his people behind him, Elon Musk is wearing his welcome out with Trump's people." And if Trump thinks that he's going to run another term, these people are going to tell him, "You're going to have to get rid of him."
Yeah, we're going to watch this drama unfold. And, someone said something the other day that I didn't even really think about, but it's very true. I've been on a social media fast for this whole week. And I will not be returning to social media until Monday. But I am definitely going to be putting a limit on how much I watch. But I did hear someone say, "What do you think he's going to do?" That's what he's known for. He loves to say you're fired. And he's firing anything that minorities and Black people have to do with. He equivalates. They all think DEI is just Black people. It's not, you dumbasses. White women benefit the most. Okay, so when it starts to really sink in that they are not a part of them, but they are a part of us, then they're all going to still start crying. But the white tears have already started. They've already started. And I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Because you know what? He told you what he was going to do. Don't pretend like you didn't know. He's always done everything that he said he's going to do. And now it's on your feet. It's on your head. I'm sipping tea. You fix it.
All right. I just want to jump in with comments. Lala said a few moments ago, hold on to your hats. This will be a crazy episode. As you can tell, it already is a crazy episode. I call it the death of a country. And Monday was America's funeral. Green Eyed Little Baby says, did you see Nigeria canceled everything American? Stock, passports, oil, because of 47's travel ban. She also says, those pardons were so that he could have his own militia in case the army refused to attack American citizens. Jen says he wants he wants to run for governor of Ohio. Who wants to run for governor of Ohio? And then J.J. Mars, good to see you as always. Vivek's only claim to fame was bashing black people. And he also says Vivek was a DEI hire.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Another thing I heard that really got my goat is, he's hollering DEI, DEI, DEI. But as I recall, almost everybody he's put up to be put into their positions all have DUIs. So what?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take Aisha off screen for a sec. No problem. That's the line of the day. That are you gonna put that on?
Took me off. I was like, but it was true, because when you really think about it, it's like, oh my God, almost everybody he did try to get confirmed or is up there has a DUI. And as recently as 4 months ago, y'all. And y'all know that's my thing. That's my banner. I have no compassion for anyone who gets behind the wheel drunk.
Wow. That's a mic drop, that line right there. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
And you know what? That sounds like a t-shirt to me. I'd rather have DUI than DUI.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Maybe you put one up in the store. One up in the store. That is crazy. Well, as we wait for Aisha to come back, I can run down some of the exec orders and you can give your thoughts on them if you wish.
I'd be happy to, but let me tell you one thing that did happen this week. I have a family member who works in the government.
Yes. Let's talk about that one right off the top. Go ahead.
And I was worried about this person. And so I reached out and I said, are you okay? Are you all right? And they said, let me tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm taking down anything that has to do with inclusion. And they were heartbroken.
Lots of black jobs gone.
Yes. And with no apology. And don't forget now, this wasn't in the executive orders, but anything government will not be celebrating Black History Month either. That was announced today.
You're kidding.
Yes. They will not acknowledge Black History Month.
Wow. And I've also heard, because of the government sort of kicking the curb DEI, a lot of people who either have contracts or were looking to get contracts aren't going to get them.
They're not going to, no. And he was pimping out bullshit in California, with the press conference saying that, he's going to remove any, it's all the devil's game, guys. You either pay the devil now or you pay the devil later. That he is going to remove any restrictions with permits so that people's homes can be built quickly. Now, here's what I want to discuss with you on that, because I think you really, and I'm going to call out stuff every time I see it, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. That sounds all great. That all sounds wonderful. And I pray for my people. I told you I have 4 people who have lost homes in these fires. Okay. So it's not that I don't have compassion. I am heartbroken. All right. But you have to understand where this man came from. All right. He got a lot of his wealth from real estate and shortchanging the government when it came to building buildings and doing things in New York City, leaving out insulation in buildings where people were freezing cold in New York coldness. So all the people who are probably going to get the government permits removed are probably going to be his cronies. So you mark my words. The houses that will be rebuilt, if they are being used by any construction company that is approved by him, will be allowed to build shoddy, shitty work, period. Don't let it fool you. The devil likes to look like he's an angel. And don't forget, he was one. The devil was an angel. He decided he wanted to do something on his own. So you're looking at evil in the face every single day. He just happens to be orange. I think I made my point.
Aisha, I was going to run down some of the executive orders, but if you want to talk about any of them and then I can fill in, what do you want to go? You want to go first?
Well, I think that's the best way to go. But the thing that we need to keep in mind is that how many of these orders attacked everyone but white men.
Okay. All right. So let's start with a few of these. Immigration and U.S. borders designate, quote, an invasion across the southern border of the United States, unquote, a move that triggers a certain amount of executive branch orders. So 45 says his cabinet, quote, shall take the appropriate action to repel, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in the invasion.
And also, just listen to the language too, okay? I'm sorry. They're like alien. When was the last time we referred to human beings who were undocumented as being aliens? Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna catch up on some comments. Jen Meyer says Vivek wants to run for governor of Ohio. Oh boy. Shirley Josma says, hello, everybody. Good to see you. And says, good to see the ladies. Also, J.G. Marr says, most of his executive orders will be challenged in the courts. Yes, they are going to be.
They're already started. Yeah.
They already started?
Yeah, they will. They are already starting. But the thing I think to be careful of is that when you read them and you read them in depth and you read the different parts of each order, he has the parts of the orders will be challenged, but parts will not be. There will be parts that will stand. And when they're written in separate executive orders, but when you put all the crumbs and pieces together, he is going to be able to undo the 14th Amendment by executive order because of these different pieces that will not be challenged.
Right.
Okay.
He knew that. This was all a plan. But Aisha, you and I both know. You and I both know. This is nothing but straight down the line 2025, Project 2025.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple of things that he hasn't tackled yet. What day is this? Oh, I don't even know if it's day 1 or day 4. It feels like a whole year already.
Right.
But don't get it twisted, y'all. This pretending like he didn't know what 2025 was, Project 2025 was, made you get your panties in the bunch, but you didn't think he was being serious. A lot of these people who wrote this have been presented for positions and to be put into these positions. And we're seeing it unfold before our eyes. And the thing is, we are seeing people also have fear. And this is nothing but pure domestic terrorism from our own president against people.
Yeah. And the other part of it too is that it's not just trying to instill fear into people. It is cruel. It is mean. Think about how they went about doing these raids. And I mean, for someone whose own mother is who wouldn't fall under this birthright citizenship thing, that as he has it, it's pretty cool to do this, right? And to make it that the mother has to be a United States citizen, even if she's here legally. That's the other part of it too that's just egregious. So whether she's here illegally or legally, your child can't be a citizen if you're just not born in the United States. And it's only on the woman. So if a man from a foreign country has a child with an American woman, that child gets birthright citizenship.
Start with his wife and child then. Because that heifer wasn't here. That heifer
You
was
don't
not
even
here.
have to start with his. You don't even have to start with his wife and child. Start with him. His mother's British.
Green-eyed little baby says Elon invested in a company called Boxable, and then also said, Lala says these orders are terrorism. Green-eyed little baby says it builds single room homes for like homeless people. I think they want to take the land in California and build these boxes, then overcharge people.
Can
Well,
you stop
isn't
right
the
there,
whole
because
thing?
I want to address something that is very serious that people are calling a rumor and it's not. Is there are cities in the United States of America that the government or whoever the powers that be want to turn into smart cities. Los Angeles is one of them. I find it highly, highly, highly crazy that all of a sudden we have all of these fires. Now, these fires, okay, y'all can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to, but these fires are being set by someone. And I truly, truly believe that they are politically based. So I've said it, it's out there. If anybody wants to come after me, come at me, bro, because I know for sure what you're trying to do is do a land grab. I had 4 emails this week, y'all, 4 from people and investors who contacted me and said, if you have any clients that just feel like they don't want to live in California anymore, we will be happy to buy their land so that they can start somewhere else anew. Do you think I pass that along to anybody? No, sir. I will not.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy. Lala says, green-eyed little baby, you're correct. JJ Mar says, alien is legal and government term used worldwide. When I was in Europe, I was considered an alien due to tax collection reasons. Wow.
Yeah, but but in our federal government, in the language, and in state governments, that has actually been taken out of a lot of just general practice use. Period. Because people find it because people do find it offensive. It's like, as a journalist, I wouldn't use it.
So
I wouldn't be allowed to use it.
Other things here: stop refugee arrivals and suspend the U.S. refugee admission program effective January 27, 25th, pending a 90-day review and recommendations from Homeland Security, the State Department, and others. Redefine birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. A 47 order asserts that a child born in the U.S. is not a citizen if the mother does not have legal immigration status or is in the country legally but only temporarily. 2, the father is not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. The order forbids U.S. agencies from issuing any document recognizing such a child as a citizen or accept any state document recognizing citizenship. This order is already being challenged in federal court. Also prioritize continued construction of a wall and other, quote, other barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border. Direct the Attorney General and Homeland Security Secretary to create a Homeland Security task forces in all 50 states, comprising of state and local law enforcement charged with, quote, ending the presence of criminal cartels, foreign gangs, and transnational criminal organizations, unquote.
My state is one of the states that is suing the federal government over this, because we also have an El Salvadorian consulate in my city. But okay, so the 14th Amendment is there for the purpose of making Black people formerly enslaved citizens of the United States. Period. It's been extended, and anyone who thinks that they can't take it away, remember they did the Chinese Exclusion Act, which said, and this was after the 14th Amendment. And the Chinese Exclusion Act basically said that people of Asian descent were not considered citizens. So that also required a lawsuit. So what did they do? Did they amend the 14th Amendment, or no? What they did was the Supreme Court went and reinterpreted the law. They reinterpreted the amendment. this is what can happen here. And you have to remember that with the exception of 3 people on that Supreme Court, the other 6 are in his pocket, right? And so he's going to go to court and he's expecting them to reinterpret the 14th Amendment
To his favor.
to his favor. And they will likely do it.
Of course they will. We've seen them bend. We've seen them bend, and we see that they're bought.
Mhm.
And the head Negro, House Negro, is in charge.
Who's that?
Thomas.
Okay.
Clarence Thomas.
Okay. Green Eye Little Baby says there's videos of people setting fires in California, but the media is not speaking of it.
Nope.
She also says they're going after Native Americans, also saying that they're not American because of their IDs or lack thereof. What?
Well, here's the other thing that
Here's
the other thing that you've got to pay attention to, right? They are trying to erase every last racial group they could possibly think of. There is an executive order restricting something for every racial group, whether it's our institutions or something. There is one that revokes aid and support for indigenous serving institutions. There's one that revokes aid and support to Latino and Hispanic serving institutions. There's one that revokes support to Asian Pacific Islander serving institutions. There's one that revokes support to Black historically Black serving institutions and HBCUs. Okay, yes, there he targeted everyone. There's disability ones, and then there's about 10, 15 different executive orders that focus on COVID. I mean, literally, even the reporting, we can't even report the cases of bird flu anymore.
Which, by the way,
which is increasing. He doesn't want people testing for bird flu anymore, right? Until he says, because he knows it's how he lost the last time. But it's like it is so egregious and so disgusting. The level of hatred in these executive orders. And then after, and even after the orders, and you read the orders, if you've read Project 2025, go read those orders. It's the exact same language. I held up parts side by side. The wording is the same. They had everything ready. All they were waiting for was his signature. But when you go even beyond that, the titles, the names of these executive orders are so ugly and mean and cruel and disgusting and bigoted and racist. And it's like, these people want so badly to erase us from the country.
Erase us,
so badly.
period. Not just the country, Aisha. Erase us, period. But here's what I find. He's so freaking twisted. In all that bullshit, he orders the Interior Secretary to help the Lumbee tribe get federal recognition. But still yet he gonna strip them. Okay, recognize them, we're gonna strip them. What kind of crazy mess is that?
Well, the funny thing is that he did the executive order giving the Lumbee tribe federal recognition, because there every state also has their own recognition designations. But before that, earlier in this week, he stripped the aid to their serving institutions and to any supports advancing it, and reducing what they were already supposed to get before the last time. And you know which ones it was? It was the ones, those serving institutions, where they primarily are in North Carolina, where the Lumbee tribe are. So it's like he takes your hand, he goes to shake your hand with one hand, and meanwhile he's trying to slap you with the other.
Okay. I'm gonna put up periodically a great article from Al Jazeera that breaks down a lot of these executive orders. I'm going to pick a few of them and have you give your feedback. And Lala mentioned it a bit when you were not with us for a bit, Aisha, but back here. So let's look at number 4. Ends, quote, diversity, equity, inclusion, unquote, initiatives and related programs within the federal government. What the order means: the federal government's diversity inclusion programs established by the Biden administration will be dismantled. All diversity, inclusion, and equity and inclusion DEI office staff will be placed on paid leave from last Wednesday, and DEI websites will be taken down. The complications it might face, none that we know so far. Can it be delivered? Yes. In fact, many private companies from Walmart to Facebook have also been scaling back their diversity practices after facing backlash and litigation from conservative groups. What do you have to say on that one?
We need to add Target to that damn list because they done rolled back. They done rolled back DEI.
Yeah, and so bad about it is that there is the backlash to DEI and people capitulating to it. What is so disgusting is that it's like, are you people like not hearing yourselves? Are you companies not hearing yourselves when you say, you know what, we're gonna kind of take a step back from diversity because it's too hot of a topic right now and it makes people upset and this. It is 2025. You're talking like it's 1965.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Lala, on that one?
No, like I said, this is like I've always said. You've heard me say it 50,000 times. When we're trying to win one thing, we're up at the bat. We're trying to hit the ball at the park with one thing. It's a little hard to do that when they have 10,000 other balls hitting you in the back of the head to knock you out. So at this point, we're swinging. We're swinging in circles, and we're not getting any of the balls.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things I want people, the reason I think I really wanted to talk about these executive orders was the fact that people were really on social media talking about the website and how he changed the website to this page opening that looks like the opening credits of MASH, right? And so all these, military things and it's it's very self-aggrandizing and all of that. It's a video and for the White House website, whatever. But see, people were focused on that and not focusing on the fact that he was writing people's rights away. I mean, he literally wrote an executive order defining what womanhood is. This to me, it's like, why are we doing this? Why do we need to do this? And he confuses gender, which is a social construct, with sex, which is the biological, and which tells you that these people don't know anything about what they're talking about. And I mean, so basically you all just randomly decided, you don't say anything, you say it's biological, but you don't back anything up with science. You just say this is how it is, and people are supposed to accept it. And it is, in the way that the executive order is written is that it's to protect women. They're defining male and female in order to protect women.
So Green-Eyed Little Baby says white people, especially women, didn't realize they fall under all three, especially equity and inclusion.
Yep.
She also says they screwed themselves. 47 want this to be a white man's world.
And it's so funny because that guy, there's one guy who was on X talking about how his wife got a job and with the VA, and then the offer was rescinded because the executive order said there's a hiring freeze on everything, right? And he's like, but my wife is she's a necessary personnel. No. For the VA, necessary personnel is military, honey. Your wife was just a nurse. And they sold their house. We're supposed to move and everything. And he's disabled, which also, just so you know, falls under DEI. And he's like, I voted Trump. Ted Cruz, help me because I voted for you. I voted for you. This wasn't supposed to happen to me. This wasn't supposed to happen to me. And people are like, yo, you voted for this. This is what you get. He's like, this wasn't supposed to happen. No, because what they wanted was for these laws to say, we want to kick out and deport all Hispanic people. We want to strip all the DEI programs that because of Black people, basically, that affect Black people. That's what they wanted. They wanted to do all of those things, right? All of these executive orders have one exception: they do not impact the lives of white men. Period.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah. Let's go back to another one of the executive orders here. So let's look at this one. And you were just talking about it, Aisha. I think we may chat a little bit more about it. Recognizes only biological sex in federal policy. What the order means, federal agencies will only recognize two biological sexes, male and female. Quote, these sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental, incontrovertible reality, unquote, the order says. The complications it might face. Previously, when states tried to ban gender-affirming care for transgender youth, they faced litigation with claims that they are infringing on the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees equal protections to every person. In 2023, a federal judge blocked a law in Tennessee forbidding healthcare workers from administering hormones to minors. The order also rescinds the October 2021 government document supporting these intersex students. Can it be delivered? Yes, but it's likely to face legal challenges. Any thoughts on that?
My answer to every last one of these is bullshit. I mean, this is our reality now. This is what we can sit back and we can bitch about it, but what the hell are we going to do about it? That's my thing. If you can't, this is the time where we're all going to have to come together to do something positive, whether it's in our own households, on our own street, in our own schools. Do you not know that this man sent in ICE to an elementary school where they had to turn the ICE agents away and because they were coming into a school? At what level are we going to do something is my question. The man already admitted that he stole the election. Is anybody going to talk about that?
I'm glad you brought that up, because remember the night of, as we're watching the votes come in, I told you the numbers were not adding up. They were not adding up. And now I feel kind of vindicated. I'm kind of like, yeah, there's something. I'm like, because remember I mentioned they are counting states that they're counting the swing states, but they haven't even been totaled yet. Why are they counting them in his corner?
Green-eyed little baby says, I love the Mexican president refusing to let the deportation planes land. I did not know about that. Is that true?
Yes.
Wow. Good for her.
I love her. She did not come to play. All right. Wow. And neither did Europe. Now, let me be very clear, because what a lot of things that people don't see is some of the BBC news and things that are going on in Europe. And there have been many, many countries that said, how dare you? No, you're not allowed to come over here and tell us what to do. Pretty much said, fuck you. No joke. Like, that really came out of one of them's mouth. That they do not recognize what the United States is doing or the leadership.
Well, because the thing is that you can't say, oh yeah, we're going to take these people out of our country and we're going to just send them back to your country. We're going to we're going to do this in your, no, you can't. And then we wonder why people hate us. Why other countries hate us? Because we're always trying to conquer some shit. Always trying to conquer.
Don't forget, he changed the name of Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America because he's an idiot.
Oh, and the other thing too is that there's an executive order to go back to return those names, those civil rights, those Civil War statues and buildings and all those monuments and things, returning their names back.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There's an executive order. There's an executive order for that.
Okay.
And also, there's one other thing that we also can't forget too, and it's very unnerving. There's an executive order that stops the DOJ from looking at these civil rights cases involving police.
Yes.
Involving police that have killed unarmed Black people.
And he's pardoned a few of those cops.
Yeah, I heard of a case where police got either pardoned. Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the.
They because they shot like wasn't it like a 13-year-old boy?
Yes, I can't remember the exact.
And the little boy was just he was like riding a scooter.
Riding a bike, yeah, riding a scooter, and they got pardoned.
Well, you watch. You wait till he pardons George Floyd's killer. That's happening. You know it will.
Yeah, I mean, you remember there's the he got rid of the case that he told them that they can't look at that case anymore. Breonna Taylor, they can't look at Kentucky anymore. And here's the other part for me that makes me so angry as I was reading these executive orders, particularly when it comes to the legal aspects of it. Because remember, a lot of these policies are laws that have legal consequences for our people. And I'm just like, Merrick Garland was the most ineffective, inconsequential AG ever, because he had 4 years to do anything.
But when you say that, who was the person who was who said
Jill.
that? I need to talk to Jill Jones about that. She said that so long ago, saying she said he was the worst Department of Justice person
I actually talked to her yesterday. We talked about this. He's terrible. He had 4 years to do things. I mean, there's no reason as to why it took 3 years for him to get to a point where we're appointing people to look at the things that Donald Trump did in 2021. Why are you not? That should have been a day one thing, because after they took over the Capitol and all that should have been a day one thing. Those prosecutions should have been a day one thing. He was too busy trying to not look partisan. You know what? After and if I was Joe Biden and you ran saying that it was because of the soul of America and because Donald Trump was a threat to the rule of law and this and that, well then you know what? You should have fired Merrick Garland after a year and said, hey dude, you need to give me your letter of resignation. If you had to go back in time, and that was Merrick's consolation prize for not getting the Supreme Court, if you had to go back in time, I would rather he went and brought back Eric Holder. I don't care with the Fast and Furious thing, all that stuff. Anyway, I don't care. Bring him back. He would have been more consequential.
So Green-Eyed Little Baby says at conception, all people are female. It takes 6 weeks before the chromosomes kick in. She also says he's trying to get oil drilling done on native land again. Merrick Garland was a 47 undercover, I believe.
Yeah, I do believe she's right about that.
Okay, what else? We got some more of the this is an interesting one. Let me just bring this one up. Let's JJ Mars says, I stepped away for a moment. 47's plan to annex Canada Greenland goes back to the 90s. Conservative Pat Buchanan, who ran for president, had the same idea. He wanted to pad the number of white
white voters in this country, because at that time in the 90s, that's when they had these projections of when the country would shift from being a majority white country to a majority quote unquote minority country, and we're there. That's why they're so scared. That's why this Project 2025. That's why this abortion ban. Because of the numbers, we're getting there a lot sooner than they anticipated. At first, they thought it was going to be 2020, 2040. Now it looks like it's going to be 2030, right? And where are we now? We're 5 years away. These people are scared.
So the second, JJ Mars ends off, he wanted the number of the white population by adding Canada. So that's probably one of the reasons why he wants to do that. Let me just get some more executive orders for us to take on. This is an interesting one. Stops federal censorship of speech online. What the order means, the order says it seeks to ensure that federal officials do not infringe on the right to free speech. The right is guaranteed by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The complications it might face, it's unclear how this would impact U.S. agencies that monitor and regulate false information, including the FBI, Office of Director of National Intelligence, and the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Can it be delivered? Yes. So
in other words, he basically just wrote an executive order stating that we have a First Amendment. That's literally that's literally all that is, because we have a First Amendment. There was no need to write an executive order for it. Because he even mentions that in the executive order that we have a First Amendment right to free speech.
Yeah, and he also revoked 78 executive orders made during the Biden administration.
Yeah.
Wow. And he also executive ordered, the last time we talked, pauses enforcement of a ban on TikTok for 75 days to review security concerns. So it's,
I don't think that was it, because remember the whole thing was that now they're feeding it through Meta.
I'm hearing some. Oh, here's one of the crazy stories of the week. Was spoke with a longtime buddy of mine, known him for over 30 years. He calls me up, Dr. Vibe, I'm blank. I go, why? He says, I got added as a follower onto JD Vet. Did you hear about this?
Yes, we all did.
Well, here's how it happened. Here's how it happened, right? It happened to everyone. When the person, what they do is that when the person changes office, if you're already following VP, which I was, when it changed to JD Vance, you're following JD Vance, because the VP you were following before was Kamala Harris.
I don't believe that. Sorry.
No, it happened with the president office one too. Same thing with like the POTUS account and VP accounts belong to the office, not the person.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was it. That was it.
Because that was it. Because otherwise, if it was it doesn't say JD Vance, it just says VP.
I don't believe it.
So JJ Mars says Pat ran for president.
Because I wasn't following Kamala. I didn't know Kamala Harris had a separate account. She now has a separate account. And then if you go back and you look at VP archive, then you also see that you were following that one too. And that's the Kamala Harris VP archive.
So JJ Mars says Pat ran for president with a very, very conservative Black woman as his VP. April Watsons has a question for both of you. Yes, please talk about Elon hacked voter machines. Remember 47 had a secret before the election. What was it?
It was that.
Yeah, I think that here's the thing for me, right? Is the fact that he's saying it out loud now and no one is doing anything. And I'm really kind of pissed at Democrats, because remember Democrats were saying to everyone, oh, well, if you say this, if you say it that way, you're no better than Republicans. But the truth of the matter is that guess what? They did cheat. And I'll tell you something.
From day one, the minute he got out of office is when he put into plan how to get back in there.
Yeah, and Elon Musk had the voting machines. It's like, and he said it more than once. He said, it was rigged. We rigged the election, so we won. We rigged the election, so we won. And it's kind of like, yo, dude, what do you mean you rigged the election so you could win? You rigged it so you could win. He said, yeah, so because I was worried that 2026 I wouldn't have this, and then 2028, and then it turns out I'll be in office. It's like, because I was trying to figure out first, like somebody tried to say, well, no, he was talking about how 2020 was rigged. And I'm like, no.
No,
No,
he was
'cause,
trying to mix it
look,
in with the Olympics.
that's what it was. You're right, because it's like, no, because he's talking about 2026 and 2028. So no, he's not talking about 2020. But here's the thing, you know what? If you ever, you guys, anybody a fan of Good Times?
I
You know
love
how
it.
when me too. So you know how whenever if they wanted anything to spread across the ghetto, they would just tell Walona.
Yeah.
If you ever don't want to keep a secret about anything, if you ever want like just business all out in the street, you tell Trump that man can't hold water. He can't hold a secret. He can't hold anything.
No. I love the comparison. I love, oh, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's so for health. 47 said in his speech, the White House will instruct the State Department and Department of Homeland Security, as well as other agents, to remove non-binary or other options from federal documents, including passports and visas, according to an incoming administration official. Quote, it will officially be the policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
I I really hate it here. So what about children who are born intersex?
Born intersexed.
Well, what about that? Because you're acting like this doesn't happen. It does happen. No, and then what about And then what about menopausal women? Because we lose female hormones. Because remember the
But
biology about it is about the hormones.
we're not worth anything anymore. We're
That's
only
right.
supposed to stay home and take care of the grandbabies. Our
Right.
life is over.
Here's another. Revoke security clearances of former officials involved in, quote, election interference, unquote. What the order means is order removes the security clearances of 51 former intelligence officials who signed a letter in 2020 saying news reports of Biden's son, Hunter Biden, leaving his laptop at a repair shop and having its data mined and shared was part of a Russian misinformation campaign. The complication.
Wait, but Dr. Vibe, that's not the only one. He's got several orders in there that are like that allow him to go investigate Joe Biden's last 4 years.
Yes.
It's insane. It's like, dude, you don't have enough of a job to do running the country that you're going to try and go back. And then he's also got things where he can go back and investigate the Barack Obama's presidency. I'm like, what? Why?
Vengeance.
Baby, we know that. You know the answer, Aisha.
And then trying to like, oh yeah, a president can't run a third term if their second term wasn't consecutive. Really? That's the bill that they put forth yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that he can get a third term, because the proposal is that a president can run for a third term
if they haven't served
they haven't served 2 terms consecutively.
But I'm hearing the chance of that happening, because it has to get 2/3 majority. So the chance of that happening, from what I've read, are pretty slim.
Baby, no.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
That headline fool you. Don't let that. They like to try to give you false hope. Are you
kidding? Because here's the thing. All they would need is 6 Democrats who are in vulnerable places. Remember, they've got 54 seats in the Senate.
That's true.
I mean, put it this way. They got Hegseth through it, and it was strictly a partisan vote. And that was a 2/3 majority.
Yeah, so don't go for that, Dr. Vab. That's not that. You cannot depend on anything now. What you can depend on is that we are all going to be ringed, and America is not going to recover from this even if it was where he's only 4 more years, even if it was, dream on, baby. He's already told you he's going to be in there along with the net. But even if it was, it would take us massive years to recover from all the damage that he has done and will be doing to our country.
Yeah.
Emperor Green Eyed Little Baby says there are There are people born with both organs. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
She also says he's immature and
Chimera, something like that.
Green Eyed Little Baby says he's immature and brain dead, but Newsom made him blank his pants yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, the thing of it is that he also he also appointed some positions in his sub cabinet that are going to require some appointments of Senate seats in state senates by Republican governors, and it's in not I think there's like 2 US Senate seats, but those seats are already red anyway. But I'm talking about in state senates replacing these state senators, and so he's having that kind of impact there too. And something you've got to watch out.
He's lining up his ducks for his war. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to be very careful and very fearful where you get to a point where he does this so much that there's going to be so many appointed seats. Because remember, state senators they have to be appointed. Like with the U.S. Senate, they can be appointed. The House seats have to be elected, right? But when they're being replaced in a special election, but it is just scary that we're on this trajectory, that we're going to see this very real change of governments, local governments, state governments, in our federal government, orchestrated to the point that the people who are serving the people were not elected by the people.
I hope y'all understood how powerful of a statement that was that Aisha just said.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is like I said, this ain't okay. Green Eyed Little Baby says free Luigi.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
This I think the reason that we're really doing it this way and we're having this conversation, because really this isn't really a long conversation that needs to be had, but you needed to have some kind of I think warning or knowledge or information about what's in these bills, because you can hear what the media is going to tell you and things that they've left out. If you notice some of the things that we've talked about here, they have not mentioned and they have not talked about in the mainstream media. And I actually, you know what? The election day, I did not watch anything but King Day stuff, watched, binge watched some programs or whatever, but I did not watch that election.
You mean the
I'm sorry, I did the inauguration, yeah, that thing. But
funeral.
about 3 a.m. that Tuesday morning, I was sitting, still watching true crime, and like, let me take a look at these executive orders now, because I need to know what's in them. And I read them all word for word. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, people are not going to believe what's in them. People were focused on the fact that, yeah, they got rid of the Office of Reproductive Health. They got rid of that office. They got rid of the website. It's a dead link. They got rid of the Spanish language version of the website. And then people are focused on, it says go home. Yeah, you're focused on that. But meanwhile, in this thing right here, he basically is about to allow child labor.
Yes.
That is in there.
Yes.
And so it's like, you be worried about those. He is trying to get people focused on these shiny objects. That's why, remember, that's what he did the last time. He's trying to do things that are crazy and whatever. You know what? The cost of eggs is going to go down. You know why the cost of eggs is going to go down? Because people are not going to know that the cases of bird flu have gone up. And when and because he's going to try and hide that information, and the cost of eggs is going to go down. You know why? Because they're going to be infected.
But what did he do, Aisha? He didn't want none of that reported. And we can't talk about anything COVID-19 or anything with bird flu. No, everything he does comes at a detrimental cost. You signed a deal with the devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now your ass better live with it, because you the one who you did it. I don't have, like, it really bothers me that, you know, y'all really played around so much and you got your way, but now we all must suffer. We have to live through this bullshit when we told you 50 million times what was coming. We weren't playing. We wasn't, this was no political games. We were telling you exactly what was going to happen, and so was he. So this is why I truly don't believe Dr. Vibe. I'm sorry, you cannot convince me that these people who claim, oh, we didn't know. You can't tell me that, because you have plenty of time to know. The man started running the day after he got out of office.
Well, here's the thing. They did know. It was this. It's this. They knew it was about the racism because it was about their own. It was about their own bigotry and hatred for other people who are different than they are. Whether it be their gender identity and sexuality, whether it be if they're in a wheelchair or have some kind of illness or something like that. They're, you know, they knew. They knew. They just didn't like it when it touched them, when it impacted them. Then it's not all fun and games anymore. Look, it's all fun and games until it affects them.
Lot to think about. Oh, Green Island Bay said 47 removed falsely security, putting him in danger.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci, yeah. He removed Pompeo's. He removed people who had to do, you know, the people, anybody who had to do with that Iran deal. He's leaving people unsafe. And honestly, if it wasn't in the Constitution, he would remove Secret Service detail from Biden and Obama.
Of course he would.
With all go ahead.
I'm sorry, but George W. Bush had it right. That man had to he showed up to the inauguration drunk.
Yeah.
What should based on this first week, what should Black African Americans be doing?
Getting together and stop playing around about this bickering and worrying about who's got more than you. Now more than ever, we need to return to the principles of community. We need to return to the principles of uplifting one another, watching each other's back. Really, the true meaning of woke. This is what we need to do, because my God, you are going to have to be woke. You're going to need to watch your backs. This is not fear. This is actually truth. They have targeted you, and now we must protect our own communities. That means teaching our young. That means feeding our elderly. That means making sure that your neighbor is okay. Are they fed? Are they clothed? Do they have the lights on? Do they have a ride to the doctor? You need to now become that village that you need to be in, our own villages. That's what it's going to take.
You know, people are doing what's called FUBU February, where they're spending their money with Black-owned businesses, finding just the necessary things. I mean, like things like your everyday items like spices, and their Black diaper companies and their Black formula companies, and, you know, things that regular items and things that we need and we use every day, spending within our community as opposed to letting those dollars go elsewhere, so people can see what our purchasing power is and stop exploiting it. I mean, honestly, I think that that's going to be how we fund our own programs. And here's the other thing: we have to move in silence. Just because we
Yes.
have a program that's a diversity and equity program, we don't have to call it that. We don't have to even let people know that's what it does. It's look, it's an arts program. We teach kids theater, but underneath the unspoken part is what we're going to have to go back to having just an oral history and not write these things down,
That's
because
exactly
when these things are written down as diversity and equity and inclusion, then his federal government can come through and say, oh no, that's against our laws, that goes against our executive orders. But if we're not putting these things in writing and we're not saying that's what they are, the Santeria, the Santeria, they look at their gods, and each of their gods has a Christian name for the African gods. Like Saint Peter is one of the other African ones. So it was their way of being able to keep their religious, their African religions, right, and their religious figures without the masters knowing.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have to go back to doing that.
We know that. We wouldn't still be here if we weren't resourceful and resilient. It is time to go back to being silent and uplifting.
Green Eyed Little Baby says, no fun when the rabbits got the gun. Also,
Right.
George W. Bush was looking for Michelle.
Sure was.
And J.G. Marsh says, I haven't seen the CBC at all, the Congressional Black Caucus. MIA as usual. And Green Eyed Little Baby says, yes, Aisha. Yeah, what's been going on with the Congressional Black Caucus? I've heard nothing from them.
I have no idea what's with them, but you know what I have heard? What Lala has been saying to us before. Remember the last couple shows before the end of last year, Lala said, keep an eye on what members of Congress are investing in. Who's saying that right now? AOC has been saying that. Keep an eye on what members of Congress are investing in, particularly with these for-profit prisons. And I thought about that when she said that. I was like, Lala was saying this. We need to keep an eye on what members of Congress are investing in, but also keep an eye on what Trump is investing our country in. I was reading just now in one of his little executive order announcements, he announced that he has a $600 billion investment in the country from Saudi Arabia.
For AI.
Yeah.
For AI.
And yeah. And that
Musk came out and said, we lost Aisha. I'm going to pick back up with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is, not only has he done that, he announced that probably within the first day. And Musk has come out and actually slammed him for that, saying that we're not ready for that. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably Musk's jealousy about that, because Musk wants to be in that position to do all of the AI, and that's why he's constantly after Sam Altman. So this actually directly steps on Musk's toes, the fact that he also did the Saudi Arabia. But don't forget that his son-in-law also has a direct contact with Saudi money.
Yeah, but remember $600 billion to do AI, right? But I mean, that's what the investment is. But what are we trading? What are we trading for that? Because the thing is, yeah, he can say it's AI. We're going to let them do the AI, and and they're going to invest $600 million. But what are they getting? It's their money to invest in doing a product for us, and they're not getting anything out of it. Well, no. What are they getting from this administration? And if that's the case, if it was this easy, why didn't prior administrations do business with Saudi Arabia? Oh, maybe because
what, Aisha?
Maybe because of what happened in 9/11, maybe because of
I said, maybe.
Maybe because we have had some very difficult issues with them over Iran, Iraq, all the things that go around in that country. And then maybe because, when they have not been our biggest supporters when it comes to rooting out terrorism.
Oh, maybe.
It would all be so foolish. And I think this is the way that we end it, really. It would all be so foolish and laughable and silly if it wasn't so dangerous.
Right. I know we joke, but I cannot begin to tell you the heaviness that I have in my heart over this. Honestly, it's really hard to swallow, and it's really hard to see this happening before our eyes. And what is our intro? Our intro, you have me saying, I never thought that we would see these things. That has just been like a mantra to me. I have no understanding that how I feel like we had made some progress, but yet there were so many people who were closeted and cloaked in hate and silence that when they felt free enough to come out of their hatred closets, that they did. And this is where we are.
Yeah.
With these executive orders, and this will be our last conversation piece, should African Americans, Black Americans be concerned about their well-being?
Yes.
Absolutely. And the first way you start by dealing with that is reading them. You have to read them. You have to know what's in them. And because you have to also be able to think ahead. A lot of these executive orders and things that will harm us is that he's returning back to and bringing things back that go beyond pre-civil rights era, right? He's bringing back those kinds of things. And by executive order, he is trying to undo every major advancement of the 20th century on civil rights.
LaLa,
He's
anything
not
you want to add?
He is doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just say that, again, if a group of 1,500 people, mainly non-melanated people, can get pardoned for trying to overturn, kill members of your federal government, how safe are Black Americans?
Not safe at all.
We never have been.
But now, again, what's in the back rooms is right in front of y'all faces. Right? The oligarchy, it's always been like that. Now it's just front and center.
They no longer wear white sheets.
They don't have to.
They run for office.
And when they run big business.
Yeah.
They do.
Right? It's not just an office. So, we'll end off with that. As always, want to thank these ladies after a very trying week in many ways for giving us their time. And before we let them go, we'd like them to share their contact information. So first things first, it's the world of LaLa Key, who's been off social media this week, but she still gives her contact information. LaLa, go ahead.
I do. And you know what I really want to say before we move on, and you're more than welcome to contact me on my website page, www.laurakey.net. I also have a store that you can buy nice t-shirts and mugs and things of that nature. And there will be more items coming for that. But what I want to encourage you to do is the same thing that I did. You cannot let this eat you alive. You can't, because there isn't anything that you can do immediately right now without breaking your own self down. So what you need to do is take a deep breath. There are many free options for you to listen to things that can keep you calm, keep your blood pressure down, limit yourself on what you watch and what you read, and be very, very careful, because AI is on the rise. And there is a lot of fake videos out there now that need to be addressed. Learn discernment so that you can keep peace in your house and uplift your community.
Thank you, Lala. Next up, Aisha K. Staggers.
You can find me on Blue Sky Social. And I've written a couple pieces on Medium. Actually, one piece I wrote specifically was about Jasmine Crockett.
Yes.
And something that went down with her over the last couple of days. So check that out. And yeah, my children's book will be out February 4th. We'll be talking about that. We can talk about that next week in more depth.
Yes, we
Dr.
will.
Vaughn.
Yes, we will. You're going to be solo on screen talking about it. So get ready.
Yep.
And
And so,
all right.
yeah, that's it.
No problem. And myself, these are all the places you can get a hold of me. Website, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at the drvibeshow.com. X/Twitter at drvibeshow. And email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And you can also catch me on Blue Sky. I'm beginning to post on Blue Sky. Yeah. So it's at drvibeshow. No, at drvibe.bsky.social. As always, we close out with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. And while good, we'll see ya.